Welcome back, everyone. Today we'll be looking at undefined fractions. What are undefined fractions? Or better still, what makes a fraction undefined? A fraction is simply undefined when the bottom side of the fraction or the denominator equals to what? 0. For instance, if I have a over b, this fraction will be undefined if b is equals to what? 0. Because if I put a all over the value of b, which is 0 here, if I practice in the calculator, no matter what the value of a be, maybe 2, 3, 4, whatsoever, it will give me what? Math error in my calculator. So a fraction is undefined when the denominator is equal to what? 0. So our examples will give us a better understanding of what undefined fraction is all about. So let's assume we have this. Let's say I have let me say I have 7 all over x minus 3. And I am asked to find the value of x that makes this expression undefined. What I simply need to do is to equate this denominator to 0. And I'll simply have x minus 3 equal to 0. And solving this, I'll have x equal to 0 plus 3, and x will be equal to what? 3. So this fraction is undefined when x is equal to what? 3. So if s equals 3, I'll simply have this to be 7 all over 3 minus 3, giving me what? 7 over what? 0. So since x equals 3 makes the denominator to be equal to 0, and this simply makes this undefined. The fraction is undefined when x is equal to what? 3. And this is our solution to this what? Question. We have y all over 20 minus 3x, and the question still remains, of what value of x is this expression y all over 20 minus 3x undefined? So what we have to do is simply to equate the denominator to what? 0, and the denominator here is 20 minus 3x, so we equate it to 0. And to get the value of what? X, we simply have negative 3x to be equal to 0 minus what? 20. And I'll have what? Negative what? 20 to be equal to negative what? 3 what? X. So I'm looking for x. To make a sort of formula, I'll divide through by what? Negative 3. And this will cancel this, and x will be equal to 20 over what? 3. And this can be written as, if you like, 6 whole number 2 over what? 3. So when s is equal to 6 whole number 2 over 3 or 20 over 3, we have the what? Fraction to be what? Undefined. Check. This will give me y all over what? 20 minus 3 times what? 20 over what? 3. Bodmer says multiplication first. So this can cancel this, will give me y all over what? 20 minus 20. And 20 minus 20 will give me y all over what? 0. And the fraction is undefined when the denominator is equal to 0. So when s is equal to 20 over 3, which equals 6 whole number 2 over 3, the fraction is what? Undefined. So we have the fraction 4 all over x minus 6 and x minus 6 all in brackets. And we're being asked to find for what value of x is this expression undefined. The fraction again will be undefined when x minus 6 equal to what? 0. This is same as this, so you don't need to repeat it. So I have x will be equal to 0 plus 6, and x will be equal to what? 6. So this fraction is undefined when s equal to what? 6. You don't need to repeat it twice. 1 is enough. So we have 4x minus 3 all over x bracket s plus 4 and bracket s minus 9. We have to find the value or values of x that makes this fraction undefined. Again, all we need to do is to equate the denominators towards 0. So we have solution. We have x bracket s plus 4 bracket s minus 9 equal to what? 0. This x here will be equal to 0, or s plus 4 will be equal to 0, or s minus 9 is equal to what? 0. So x already is equal to 0, so meaning if s is equal to 0, the expression will be undefined. Or we have x to be equal to 0 minus 4 and s will be equal to minus 4. So x equal minus 4 make this expression equal to 0. Or is s will give me 0 plus what? 9 and s equals to 9, we equally make the expression equal to 0. Check. If s is 0, 0 times any expression will give you what? 0. So if s is 0, the denominator will be equal to what? 0. If s is minus 4, if I put minus 4 here, minus 4 plus 4 will give me 0. And 0 times s is for 0, and 0 times minus 9 is 0. So meaning x, when s is minus 4, the expression is also equal to what? 0. And when x is 9, you can see 9 minus 9 will give me 0, and 0 times x plus 4 will give me 0, and 0 times s will give me what? 0. Therefore, the fraction is undefined when x equal to 0, comma, x equal to minus 4, comma, and x equals to what? 9. So we have another example on the board. So we are asked to find the value of x for which 18 over x plus s squared plus 1 all over s squared minus 9 is undefined. And remember, for something to be undefined, it means it is not defined. It can come in any way, not defined or undefined. They are both the same thing. So now what we have to do here, we just focus on this to be equal to 0 and this to be equal to 0. So the fraction is undefined when x here is equal to 0, or x squared minus 9 equal to what? 0. S is already equal to 0 here. You can see that this is a quadratic expression. So you can say x. If you solve it this way, that s squared will be equal to 0 plus what? 9, which is 9, and you have x to be equal to square root of 9, which is equal to 3. You've gotten it partially, because in the quadratic expression, you always have what? 2 values. Now, how do we do this? We can use difference of 2 square, which is s squared minus 3 squared equals to what? 0. And I'll have this as s minus 3 and what? S plus 3 equal to what? 0. This will give me x minus 3 equal to 0, giving me x to be equal to 3, or x plus 3 equal to 0, and s equal to what? 0 minus 3, which is what? Minus what? 3. So therefore, the expression is undefined when x is equal to what? 0, or x equal to what? 3, or x equal to negative what? 3. Check. When s is equal to 0, 18 divided by 0 will give you what? An undefined what? Fraction. And when something is undefined, if you add or subtract anything from it, it will still give you what? An undefined what? Fraction. So when s is 0, 18 over 0 is undefined, and if you add up s squared plus 1 all over s squared minus 9, it will still give you an undefined what? Expression. Also, when s is 3, 3 squared will give me what? 9. 9 minus 9 is 0. S squared plus 1 divided by 0 is undefined, and plus 18 over s will still make it what? Undefined. When s is minus 3 squared, this is minus 3, close bracket square, will give you minus 3 times minus 3. Minus minus is plus, 3 times 3 is 9, and 9 minus 9 is what? 0. S squared plus 1 divided by 0 is 0, and s squared plus 1 divided by 0 is undefined. And when you add up an undefined expression to what? A defined expression. So we still give you what? An undefined what? Expression. So these three what? Values for x makes this fraction undefined. So we have an example here again. We have 6x all divided by s squared minus 8s minus 20. And we are asked to find the value of x for which the fraction is undefined. Now, we simply equate the denominator to 0. And I'll have x squared minus 8x minus what? 20 equals to what? 0. And we can see that our product of roots here will be equals to minus 20 times what? 1, which is equals to minus what? 20. Now, our sum of roots, there's no way we can have a sum that we can use minus 20 and 1 to get what? Minus 8. So therefore, we'll go for a log division. And if this 20, 2 into 20 will give me 10, 2 into 10 will give me 5, and 5 here will give me 1. I can use 10 and what? 2, because 2 times 10 is 20. And if I do that, I'll have my what? Sum to be our second product to be 2 and what? 10. And our sum can be 2x minus what? 10x, which is equals to what? Negative 8 what? X. So I have x squared plus 2x minus 10x minus 20 equal to what? 0. So I'll bracket, I'll bring this exactly how it is and check minus minus is plus. So I have x squared plus what? 2x in bracket. Since negative is outside, I'll change all these signs. So here become positive 10x instead of negative, and positive what? 20 equal to what? 0. So what's common here is what? X. If I divide x squared by x, I'll have x. If I divide 2x by x, I'll have what? 2. Put my negative sign. What's common here is what? 10. 10x divided by 10 will give me what? X. And 20 divided by 10 will give me what? 2. Equal to what? 0. And I'll have x minus 10, this and this, in bracket s plus what? 2 equal to what? 0. Therefore, I'll have x minus 10 equal to 0, or x plus 2 equal to what? 0. And x will be equal to 0 plus what? 10, and x is equals to 10, or s equals 0 minus 2, and s equals to minus 2. So therefore, the fraction is undefined when x is equals to 10, or when s is equals to minus 2. Let's check when s is equals to minus 2. This will give me what? Minus 2 in bracket square minus 8 bracket minus 2 minus 20. Minus 2 times minus 2 will give me positive 4. Minus minus is what? Plus. Plus 8 times 2 is what? 16. And I have 4 plus 16 to give me 20, and 20 minus 20 equal to what? 0, which is what? Correct. And for the other one, we have x as 10. So I'll simply have what? I'll simply have 10 square minus 8 bracket 10 minus what? 20. Now, this will give me what? 10 square is what? 100 minus 8 times 10, 80 minus 20. Now, this will give me 100 minus 80 minus 20 will give me minus what? 100. And 100 minus 100 is what? 0. So you see, both give 0. So we have 6s minus 1 all over 0. And since the value of x gives the denominator to be equal to 0, it gives the final expression to be 6s minus 1 all over 0. And 6s minus 1 divided by 0 is what? Undefined. So this makes this expression, the values of what? S equal 10 and minus to make this expression what? Undefined. So we have another question on the board, which is s squared plus 10 all over s squared plus 4x minus 5 minus 2x minus 1 all over x squared plus 8x plus 15. So for this expression to be undefined, for this first fraction, x squared plus 4x minus 5 must be equal to 0. So we start. S squared plus what? 4x minus 5 equal to 0. So we factorize this being a quadratic expression. Minus 1 times 5 will give me my product, which is what? Minus 5. And my sum will be, I can use 1 to subtract 5, which is x minus, or rather, since here is positive, 5x minus what? X will give me what? 4x. So I have this expression as s squared plus 5x minus x minus 5 equal to what? 0. Now minus minus is plus. So I can have s squared plus what? 5x. Bring this sign the way it is. And since it is negative, every other sign will change. Minus x will become positive x, and minus 5 become positive what? 5 equal to what? 0. What's common here is x. S squared divided by x is what? X. And 5x divided by x will give me what? 5 minus this half x in its grand state, 5 in its grand state. So I simply have what's common to be what? 1. Bracket s plus what? 5. Check. 1 times s is s, 1 times 5 is 5. And the two brackets are also what? Equal. So I have x together with minus 1 and what? X plus 5 to be equal to what? 0. And if I do this, if s minus 1 is equal to 0, equals 0, or have s to be positive 1, and if s plus 5 equals 0, or have x to be negative what? 5. So I've gotten two values in my first what? Expression, in my first fraction rather. So this fraction is undefined when what? X is equal to 1 and when s is equal to what? Minus 5. But we have a complex what? Expression. So we have to equate this to 0 as well. So we have it as the second as x squared plus 8x plus 15 to be equal to what? 0. And 15 times 1 to get my product is 15. And 15 and 1 can never give me what? 8. If I do my XCM, 3 here will give me what? 5. And 5 will give me 1. So I'm using 3 and 5. And you see 3 times 5 is also equal to what? 15 times 1. And 3x plus 5s will give me what? 8x. So I have s squared plus 3x plus 8x plus 5s rather plus 15 equal to what? 0. Plus times plus is plus, so it's correct. I'll bring this sign exactly the way it is. So I have x squared plus what? 3x in brackets. Since this plus outside, all the signs remain the same. So this becomes 5s, this becomes what? 15 equal to what? 0. Now, x is common, or have s. S squared divided by s is s, and 3s divided by s is 3. Plus what's common here is what? 5. 5s divided by 5 will give me what? X. And 15 divided by 5 will give me what? 3 equal to what? 0. And I'll have s plus what? 5 and what? S plus what? 3 in brackets. So I have x plus 5 equal to what? Equal to 0, or s plus 3 equal to what? 0. And x equal to what? 0 minus 5 will give me minus 5. And x equals 0 minus 3 will give me what? Minus what? 3. Therefore, this right hand fraction is equals to, when s is equals to minus 5 or s is equals to minus 3, the fraction here will be undefined. So the entire expression will be undefined when x from the first, when x is equals to 1 or x is equals to what? Minus 5, or I've picked the 2 here. So when I come to this place, I don't need to repeat 5, negative 5. So I'll just bring 3, minus 3. So when x is 1 or minus 5 or minus 3, this entire expression is what? Undefined. Let's check. If x is 1, 1 square is 1, 4 times 1 is 1. So 1 plus 4 is what? 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. So s squared plus 10 will be divided by 0 when s is 1. When s is also minus 5, we'll have minus 5 squared. Minus 5 squared will give me positive what? 25. I'll have my negative sign. 4 times negative 5 will give me negative what? 20. And I'll have minus 5. This will give me 25. Minus 5 Minus 25 minus 20 minus 5. Minus 20 minus 5 will give me minus 25. And 25 minus 25 will give me 0. You see, we still add s squared plus 10 all over 0 when s is minus 5 here. And if we come to this side, if we still put our x, since we got minus 5 and minus 3 here, if we still put it here, we'll get the denominator to be equal to 0. Check, s squared plus 8s minus what? 15. When s is minus 5. Or have minus 5 close bracket square plus 8 bracket minus 5 plus what? 15. Minus 5 times minus 5 will give me positive what? 25. So I have 25. Plus minus is minus. 8 times 5 is what? 40. Plus what? 15. 15 plus 25 will give me what? 40. So I have 40 minus 40, which is equal to what? 0. And 2s minus 1 divided by 0 is undefined. So this entire expression is undefined when s is 1, or x is minus 5, or x is what? Minus 3. So that is it. With this, we come to an end. But before that, I'm going to give you an assignment of which we are going to resolve in our next topic. Assignment for today. Our assignment for today, we have for what value or values of x is the expression x all over s raised to power 4 minus 4s squared plus 3 plus x minus 2 all over s squared minus 1 undefined. For what value or values of x is the expression x all over x raised to power 4 minus 4s squared plus 3 plus s minus 2 all over x squared minus 1 undefined. Thank you. Till we see you in our next class.